What connection exists between little boats going between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela that have no capacity to reach the American coastline, okay, from a country that is not even a narco trafficking hub whatsoever, because Venezuela is not a narco trafficking hub at all? How does any of that connect with one another? Anyway, this is a textbook extrajudicial exit order on first Caribbean boat strike. Officials say killed them all. 2 survivors were clinging on to the smoldering wreck. The Special Operations Commander overseeing the September 2nd attack ordered a second strike to comply with Hexet's instructions. It's unfathomable that the USG lawyers were signed up on a no survivors boat strike, no get out of jail free card. There's a clear precedent dating back to World War II trial of the Germans for that very act, which lawyers know very well, the Pelleas World War II trial. Who is going to stop America? That's the question. And when there is no one that's willing to even entertain the notion that America is responsible for a metric ton of, they just get away with doing this shit. Anyway, even Americans and Nazis pulled each other out of the sea. What the fuck are we doing? Yeah, well, America is slowly but surely moving in the direction of a super Nazi style of governance, it seems. Of course you defend drug smugglers. No, dumbass. I'm defending rules of conflict. You're defending. Do you understand? Not at all, but you are. You are. Because I'm saying we must abide by, it's not even a war. Okay. If someone comes to your house and you or lasers you with a drone and then post-mortem decides that you were engaging in illegal activity without actually offering any evidence to suggest that you did, I guess we can just turn around and say, sorry, not a war. That's what the cartels did for the last 50 years. So why aren't we actually apprehending the cartels then? Why are we lasering random boats off the coastline of Venezuela, you baboon? Venezuela is not a narco trafficking hub. Donald Trump's own department, Donald Trump's own DEA recognizes that Venezuela is not a narco trafficking hub whatsoever. Why are we lasering small fishing boats? Good question. You should strike the bosses. He would have to go somewhere else. If he wants to strike the bosses, he'd have to kill the Sackler family. He would have to kill half of the CIA. He's not going to be doing that, dipshit. And the reason why he doesn't have to do that, don't say true now. The reason why he doesn't have to do that is because dumps like you look at a bunch of random fishermen in Venezuela or small-time drug runners going from Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela, getting lasered off the coastline of Venezuela and go, hell yeah, we're doing something. Pop the champagne. Yeah, it's for dummies like you who just don't read into what's going on at all. But drug runners are a big problem too. Dog, do you live in Trinidad and Tobago? The fuck are you talking about? We're not even talking about solving the problem with opioid addiction in the country. Amsterdam is narco capital. Oh my God, Amsterdam. What the This guy has to be a uroid, right? Who the brings up Amsterdam when we're talking about justifying the of like random either small-time criminals or just fishermen off the coastline of Venezuela? Yeah, Venezuela brings drugs with tiny fisher boats over to Amsterdam with the top open too. It literally is because Amsterdam is the biggest hub for drug runners. Brother, what the are you talking about? We're talking about the fentanyl or the opioid crisis in America. What the does Amsterdam have to do with this conversation? It's not like Donald Trump is saying, we got to deal with Amsterdam. We're not even talking about that. You started this by saying it's a good thing that Donald Trump is lasering small boats off the coastline of Venezuela. I'm explaining to you how that is completely irrelevant and also well, cartels operate worldwide, bro. Oh my God. Explain to me with whatever words you can use how random small-time criminals, or rather fishermen, off of the coastline of Venezuela is actually tackling the narco trafficking hub that exists in Amsterdam. Please explain to me how that works. Then continue with your explanation on how them with drone strikes is actually the appropriate thing to do rather than investigate and apprehend them with the Coast Guard. So you can conduct a real full-fleshed investigation into how they're drug trafficking, because I would certainly love to understand what connection exists between little boats going between Trinidad and Tobago and Venezuela that have no capacity to reach the American coastline, okay, from a from a country that is not even a narco trafficking hub whatsoever, because Venezuela is not a narco trafficking hub at all. How does any of that connect with one another? Small-time criminal will think twice before signing up to smuggle this shit. You are so stupid. I don't think we should be drone striking anybody, okay? But even in the equation that you have designed here, drone striking American drug dealers would probably be more effective, even though it's ultimately ineffective regardless, than drone striking random fishermen off the coastline of Venezuela. Would you agree that the Mexico cartels are the biggest problem? Do you want to solve the opioid crisis? Because if you do want to solve the opioid crisis, trying to violently attack what you suspect is Mexican cartels is not going to solve the opioid crisis. Okay, if you want to actually tackle the, then what you have to do is, instead of waging a failed war on drugs, which America has been waging for the past half a century at this point, okay, what you have to do instead is focus on rehabilitation over incarceration. As a matter of fact, the previous administration did a little bit of that. And for the first time ever under the Biden administration, they were able to lower the number of overdose deaths in the country. The first time in the past couple of decades. Think about that. Overdose deaths were going up every single year. And I believe it was the last Biden administration, through safe injection sites and through mass distribution of EpiPens, or not EpiPens. What is it called? The nose thing? I'm forgetting now. Narcan. Mass availability and distribution of Narcan was actually able to combat overdose deaths for the first time ever. Testing kits and a focus in the direction of a focus on harm reduction and a focus in the direction of rehabilitation is the only way to solve it, because America is the market for drugs, okay? Either you tackle the market for drugs or you just continue making this problem far larger. God bless you, Hasan, for talking to these chatters and trying your best. I mean, always. Yes, that's good. I would never argue against this, but I've seen what smugglers are capable of, that, and I hate them for real. Okay, you hate them. Sure. It's not like I love drug smugglers either. Okay? It doesn't matter whether you hate them or not. That's not solving the problem. Okay? If drug runners actually solved the problem, there would be no drug problem in America. The solution is rehabilitation. This process of total fabrication to overthrow the Venezuelan government and the entire drug trafficking narrative is fabricated. Yeah, I know. And that's according to U.S. intelligence as well. The drug smuggler narrative is a farce used to gaslight dumb fucks like this chatter into thinking it's justified. That's it. The real reason is Venezuela has oil, okay? And Venezuela is probably willing to play ball with American refineries, but we want that oil with we want unrestrained amounts of oil in the natural reserves that they have, okay? And the best possible way to get that is pulling in Iraq and Venezuela. But this time, instead of WMDs, the Donald Trump administration isn't even really trying that hard, but basically saying we need to destabilize Venezuela because they're a narco trafficking hub, even though there is no evidence to suggest that they are actually a narco trafficking hub whatsoever. Even with the WMD shit with Iraq, the American government at the time at least tried to come up with like a fake narrative. They even made like the fake evidence that they showed at the United Nations. We don't even have that with Venezuela. The administration is so incompetent, and they know that no one will actually push back on this stuff, that they don't even have a vial of drugs to show from Venezuela. Oh, watch as they do that tomorrow, by the way. I just spoke that into existence now. They're going to be like, this is fentanyl that came from Venezuela, and Maduro made it himself personally. We have to kill him tomorrow. Yeah, that's good. I would never argue against that. What can we do against worldwide cartels then? Oh my God. You starve out the market. That's it. You starve out the market. And instead of apprehending drug users and criminalizing them, which is ineffective in terms of dealing with addiction, and also forces them to purchase in the black market, you actually move in the direction of rehabilitation, decriminalization and rehabilitation, so that people are not fearful of seeking out help. But in the absence of that, we're cooked. Yeah, fentanyl is made in Mexico. The precursor is imported from China. Yeah, none of this has anything to do with Venezuela anyway. It's completely made up. But if you're talking about actual fentanyl overdoses and how to deal with it, the way to do that obviously revolves around starving the market. This would actually harm the cartel's bottom line anyway, in the same way that an expedient process of migration would also harm those who actually engage in crossing people over the border at a pretty high markup. But the American government is consistently delivering a wonderful gift to the cartels in Mexico, because the cartels in Mexico control Mexico. And I think America would rather have a destabilized, cartel-riddled Mexico than one where the cartels have either and are a part of like the normal industrial output of the nation of Mexico and no longer an ever-present threat. America is the market for the drugs that the cartel is shipping, and you have to either starve out that market or you have to stop it dead in its tracks. You can't stop it by tighter border controls. You certainly can't stop it by saying all these undocumented migrants are actually delivering the drugs over the border, because that's not the case, because they're coming through regular points of entry. They're coming in with American citizens driving the drugs in chopped up cars. Starve the market and kill the bosses. Agreed. Oh my Lord. This guy just wants a kill, man. That's what it is. You don't know anything about narco trafficking. Amsterdam is the biggest hub in the world because of its massive ports. Amsterdam, Rotterdam, and Marbella. All right, Euroid. I've tried. You just want it, brother. I got it, okay? Good luck. That's why Euroids love LARPing as Americans, because we have the death penalty here. And we're the one country where we are so belligerent and so violent all the goddamn time. Avi, the chatter is fantasizing about a scenario where well-meaning police officers cannot achieve their mission because they're bound by the law while criminals are not. He does not understand that the law gives the government its power and defines its duty. If there's a more effective way of dealing with it, you make new laws. Yeah, because I know people who died innocently because of smugglers. You wouldn't get it at all. Yeah, dude. As an American citizen, I don't know anyone that has died to an overdose. Are you that stupid? I'm an American, dumbass. What the fuck are you talking about? I don't think there's a single person in this chat that lives in the United States of America that doesn't know numerous people. Overdose? Are you dumb? I think you're conversing with a child. I think so too. A child has watched one too many movies. I changed my mind. Whatever, mate. Have a good day. Oh my God. I'm going to put a ban on Europeans in this chat. I swear to God.